Welcome back here on Woodberry.tv. Alongside Coach Alex Tisch, I am Brian Rothamel. We're getting ready here for the start of our second match in the quads as Woodberry Forest takes on Manchester Lancers, coming from Chesterfield, Virginia. In our 113, Woodberry got an easy 6. So we'll move on up. And this is Mitchell, rather. Or we're up to Witt.
So we had a forfeit at 120, I believe. So that was Mitchell Choate. So he got Woodberry 6 points there.
So now we're moving up to Whit Moy with 126.
Again, Witt, senior here and team captain. And the varsity wrestler for 4 years.
You got it pinned last match against Covenant, so. Manchester, public school, but a large school.
Witt with a front headlock here. He's just trying to circle, see if he can get his 2 points. If he's able to pull him back into the circle, he should be able to get his 2. Referee says not yet.
And they go out of bounds. So 46 seconds left here in the first period, still 0-all.
Nice job by Witt finishing that front headlock to the cradle there.
Under 30 here.
See Witt with some good defense there. He's keeping his head on the side of the Manchester wrestler.
10 left.
Short time. Witt going for the shot, unable to finish.
Only 2 seconds. That's going to end it.
Looks like we're going to have a good matchup here.
Witt going down here.
You could just hear the Manchester coach there saying 1, not 2. Obviously, as the top man, you'd always rather give up an escape point than a reversal. Witt sitting out there, trying that knee slide. He's going to try to work up to his base. There we go. Nice job.
Gets his point. Things changing a little bit here in this what we saw earlier.
Yeah, definitely a little more even of a matchup, at least at this weight so far. So we'll see what we end up getting. Witt's put a whizzer in there. Nice snap down. You see he's going back to that front headlock. He wants to keep trying to, call it sucking back. You're trying to get that Manchester wrestler down to his knees. He's doing a nice job of staying on his feet. Called him out of bounds there.
40 seconds left here. 1-0 Witt.
Witt with a nice sprawl, good pressure. Work back up to their feet.
Ten seconds now.
Witt tried to press, got there, and then right to an ankle pick, unable to finish.
We have time here. So go to the third period. Manchester going to go down. And this for sure. You got to give up a point, only give up one. As evenly as these two guys have been.
Yeah. See the Manchester wrestler as he got set. You can tell he's a little winded. You know, you'll see as we move into, you know, the second match of the quad and then the third match, I'm sure we'll witness a little bit of a change in these wrestlers' energy. It looks like Witt working the near wrist here, trying to get it back past underneath his shoulder, the Manchester wrestler's shoulder. He's got that tight waist in, and they're out of bounds.
It's important, still hasn't given up any points. Considering he's about 38 seconds in here.
Good pressure by Witt, and obviously in this situation, Witt would much rather give up an escape than a reversal. So he has to wrestle. You know,
how hard is it to be on top for 2 minutes?
You know, it's actually harder than you would think. It does take a lot of energy working there. Of course, it's also taking a lot of energy on bottom, but it is hard to work on top. And you know, of course, especially in a tight match like this, you have to wrestle. You know, wrestle smart is what we always say.
Trying to keep a hold of that leg.
Yeah, does a nice job there. Able to drive him forward, good pressure.
He's got 40 seconds left.
Yeah, so he's trying to see if he can get some points.
30 now. I believe that was a stall warning.
Looks like it. Witt with a good mat return. Nice job. That good pressure follows him to the mat.
Witt can hold on here for the last 15 seconds. We'll take the point.
He's going to see if he can score some points here. Obviously, he wants to be safe. If he's able to put the half Nelson in, he's going to lock it up. Great job by Witt there. That's a great wrestling match.
So he picks up the 3 team points. Move up to the 132 class. We see Harrismore.
See, you asked about styles before. This wrestler staying low and on his knees. As wrestlers, you see a lot more experienced wrestlers do that. They like to stay lower and they go for what are called low single legs, so ankle picks. They'll go for sweep singles. And now he's back up on his feet.
Is there one style Woodberry tries to go for more, or you just go based on wrestler preference?
Well, you know, we have most of our guys stay on their feet. Because you're a little, you know, depending on how used to it you are, you're probably a little more used to that. But you'll see guys like Brandon Walker, he'll drop to a knee sometimes. The other idea too is you're lower so you can defend a shot better. See, he used an ankle pick there,
getting 2 points.
But yeah, generally we like to be on our feet, take our shots from there.
Under a minute in the first period.
Harris trying to work up to his base here. He's going to call stalling.
On red.
Warning on red. He wasn't really trying to work off. You see that he was kind of sitting on Harris's hips. what referees look for is you work out to the side, and that's where you're trying to work your moves. So he'll have to be careful not to just sit on the hips.
Trying to get that escape.
Trying to work up to his base here.
Under 15. And that ends first period. Woodberry deferring. Manchester picking to go down.
Yep. Looks like we're going to have another good matchup here. Harris is trying to work a cross knee series there, which you don't see a lot. Fortunately, he gets reversed there.
I believe the scoring is 4-0.
Yep. There we go. We see a change there. You see the ref looking closely at Harris's arm there. The arm is not allowed to go up the back, then past a 90-degree angle. This is called a near wrist here.
Right now, looking at Harris Moy at 132. Down 4-0 with under 45 seconds. Stall called against Woodberry again.
So the stalling against Manchester.
Oh, against Manchester.
I think the referee, the official here wasn't convinced that he is working out to the side enough. Harris with an escape. 4-2.
On 10 seconds.
It's never good to see someone go down. Harris trying to shake it off here. Shoulders can be a common area of injury in wrestling.
Especially we saw how that arm was getting held for a while.
Exactly.
Seconds on that injury time. Looks like they're just going to go on to the third period with only 2 seconds left before. Yep. They're and go to the third period. 4-2 Manchester with the lead here. Harris can get the escape.
See, he won't get the point until he breaks free of Manchester's grip there.
Close.
Very close there. And with Manchester already being called for stalling, that wrestler has to be careful that he doesn't appear to be driving Harris out of bounds so that he can't get the escape, because that would be a stalling point. It's called fleeing the mat. And if you do that, then that'll be another penalty point.
The penalty points, do they escalate? He's already had one penalty point.
Exactly. So
next week, two.
They will escalate. It's like, you know, the full Nelson is one people have heard of. Yeah, you can see that near wrist. That's that shoulder that was bothering Harris. So see if she can't make up 2 points, get a win here. Last period. This wrestler's strong on top. Wrestler,
1 minute in the third.
Harris freed the 2-on-1 there to keep basing up. Still trying to free that wrist.
Seconds.
Wrestler. Oh, Harris almost escapes there, almost rolls out of it. Got short time. He's just got to see if he can tough it out, get a reversal, not give up any back points. Running out of time here. He's almost able to roll through on him. I mentioned those home run moves before. That's what Harris was going for there. You know, that's something he wouldn't do in the first period.
When he gets pinned with only 2 seconds left. So now we'll move up to the 138 with Brandon Walker.
Tough one for Harris there, but you know, he wrestled really tough, and you know, every once in a while we tell the wrestlers all the time, at some point you do run into a wrestler who will be a good match for you.
138 now with Brandon Walker. As we're nearing the 6 o'clock hour here on the East Coast, starting to see some Woodberry students pile in as they've ended their evening activities.
Indeed, and they are able to come here after their practices. Occasionally, you know, special matches, especially since this last one is EHS. Sometimes they will allow students to be a little late to a Friday night study hall because we only have 4 classes in the morning. You see Brandon here with that arm bar, turns him over, gets his near fall points. It's always nice when this is actually our first home event for wrestling, so it's nice that they've gotten to get some support here from the home Tigers. So now that Manchester worked out of that move, Brandon gets his 3 near fall.
So 5-0 right now, Brandon with the slight advantage.
There we go, Brandon trying to keep those hips over him, gets the pin.
Picks up those 6 points back. So now we'll move to the 145 class, 145 here. See Jared come back.
Jared going for that shot right off the bat. Nice and aggressive. Always like to see that.
Jared got the technical foul last time against Covenant.
Jared tried to do a fireman's there, wasn't able to. Rolls through. This is what we call a scramble when you have wrestlers kind of know and establishing control, but some opportunities for both wrestlers as they're on the mat. It's probably one of the harder parts of wrestling to learn. You really only learn from that, from the experience, but when you are scrambling around on the mat in the match, it doesn't always end in your favor.
One minute left here in the first period.
You actually hear Jared's dad in the background there. He coaches wrestling in Culpeper and has coached Jared since he was young, so nice that Jared is experienced. There we go. Jared puts the half in, that little armbar.
Get some points.
Looks like he's gonna get the pin here, hopefully.
And he does get the pin with 16 seconds left here in the first period. So now we'll go to 152 with Andrew Holmes, sophomore. Andrew won by major decision previously. So the 152 right now keeping along at home. Team score 21-6, Woodberry Forest. One advantage Woodberry has in these meets is that they wrestle pretty much a full class, so they'll get a lot of points at the end.
Exactly. It's always helps when you can fill a full lineup. We're very fortunate to be able to actually do the same with our JV program as well, which is very rare. A lot of times you get, 5, 6 wrestlers all at the same weight, and then no one at some of the other weights.
All boys school where you have to play a sport helps.
That does help. That is a great help. Like seeing that Manchester wrestler.
He's ready to go.
Ready to go. That's something we talk to our guys about a lot. There's such a mental aspect to the sport. It really helps when you kind of just show you're not phased, whether you're down. Doesn't matter if you're getting beaten. Get back to the middle of that circle and you're ready to wrestle. It's like, there we go. He puts the bar in. If he starts, what Andrew wants to do here is circle towards his head, keep walking. He gets that far wrist and he turns him.
Gets the pin.
Gets the pin with the stack. That also does not feel good.
So let's go to the 160. Here with Tripp.
See that kind of head tap. Wrestlers will kind of try to distract you with that and do that's part of a setup for their shot. You never want to just take a shot without using some sort of setup. That's one of the hardest things to get some of the young guys to do. And the better the wrestler, probably the better his setup and shots are. Every guy has certain setups to certain shots that they prefer. You kind of show them the whole range, and then they figure out what works best for them. Certain shots will work better for certain body types. Tripp able to turn the tide there a little bit, drive into him, out of bounds.
(2-0) Manchester with the advantage. Caution game picked up here by Manchester.
Well, Tripp tries that sit out. Can't get it. Manchester putting the crossface in. Looks like that wrestler wanted to go for the cradle, but was able to drive Tripp over. Tripp wants to try to belly out, so his back isn't facing the mat, so he doesn't give up the near fall. He's not able to. He rolls through. There we go. That should be a reverse once he establishes control. And now there's nice job by Tripp. Excuse me.
So we got the 3 near fall and then the 2 for Tripp on reversal, making it 5-2 fall.
Tripp called for clasping hands there. Once you're on your feet, you're allowed to clasp hands. So he must have, the official must have seen him do it before they were on their feet.
He's got that right leg.
Now Tripp wants to circle to his right. Manchester wrestler able to get his hips up.
And gets the escape. Less than 15. Waning seconds here. 7-2 Manchester with the advantage through the first period. Inside Alex Tish, I am Brian Rothmel. We're here in the Riley Wrestling Room for a quad meet here between Woodberry, Covenant, Episcopal, and Manchester. Right now, Woodberry going against Manchester. If you just joined us, Woodberry won their first match 65-9.
You can see the referee actually just wiped that point away, and the reason is they had both been neutral. So even though Tripp had tried to get in on that shot and Manchester essentially escaped it, Tripp had never established control, so he didn't. That's why there wasn't the one escape. Tripp almost getting the takedown there. Feet just slid out of bounds last second. You're near that top wrestler. You always want to keep that pressure going forward. Make it hard to get off the mat for the other man. Manchester now gets an escape.
So now we'll go back to the 7-2.
Manchester with a takedown there.
Now Manchester with the lead.
Tripp trying to work out here, try not to give up the near fall.
They'll go out of bounds. 1 minute.
Working that cradle. What Tripp wants to do here is just kick his legs, and he wants to, you see him right there, he's working on that grip. Unfortunately, got too late.
We'll move up to the 170 here with Thomas Claiborne.
So Manchester picks up the 6 points there for the men.
making it 27-12.
It looks like we're going to change it up here. Instead of Thomas, we have Michael Armstrong. Michael wins by forfeit.
So Michael was in the 182.
Yeah, he was wrestling up there because they were forfeiting it anyways.
Then we also have Manchester taking the taking 182.
Yep.
Woodberry taking 170. Woodberry taking the 195. The 220. The 285. Manchester, do they have anyone at 113 or 106?
Don't see anyone coming up to the table. So we'll see.
Looks like we'll just move up to 113. Both. And we'll get the 113. We'll get 113 now, though. Oh, Lancer's getting called for a quick start. So it looks like neither team had a 106, and now we're going with Will Medic.
Yep, so that's a wash there, and Will Medic gets out of that front headlock, works back to his feet. Go for a shot. It looks like he might try to either sit out. It looks like he's in a circle. Gets that leg, and he wants to circle to his left here and drive into him. Essentially what you do is you pin that leg to the mat, and circle and put a lot of pressure on him. Nice job finishing there by Will.
Gets his 2 points.
Oh, and he puts legs in. He's been working on that this week. And if you can ride legs, that is not fun to have legs put in on you. See, nice job by Will. Didn't keep his hips up high enough and gets reversed.
Ties it up.
He's been working with Brandon Walker on that, and Brandon's done a nice job of teaching. Looks like, I'm sure with time, Will learn to perfect that. It's a difficult move to do. There's a lot of moving parts, and it takes a lot of balance.
You coach football as well here. You know, when you talk about wrestling, it seems it's a lot more reactionary. You have to kind of install the tools for them so they know how to react to it.
Exactly. That's exactly right. I would compare wrestling to playing defense on football. You know, obviously, offensive players in football, you have a play, you know what you're going to do. But there is an aspect in wrestling where we try to tell them to have a mental plan. Younger wrestlers especially, when they don't have that plan, they get out there and they kind of blank. You know, all of a sudden, oh no, I forgot what to do. And I will admit that as a head coach, that can be frustrating at times. So something we really work on, and Will's doing a nice job with that leg now, but something we really work on with those young guys, he's got to get his hips up more, but we really work on going into each match with a plan. You know, what setup is your setup? What shot is your favorite shot? And sometimes the hardest part of working with those young guys is just getting them to take a shot early on and be aggressive. So
that's important here is we're in that 113 where with a freshman, and the 120 also a freshman, Michael Choate. You know, he didn't get a wrestle this time.
He didn't. He had a forfeit. Will with a nice shot off of that, and that's what we call chain wrestling. Where he doesn't get that leg ride to work for him, and as soon as they get to their feet, he takes a good shot. So nice job by Will there. That's something, again, young wrestlers find that difficult. He's got the half Nelson. He's got a circle. He's got to keep circling. He wants to get chest to chest here and just pick that man's head up for the pin. Nice job by Will there.
I believe that's going to...
Looks like these must be exhibition matches now, because Shane wrestles 113. He actually attended Fork Union last year. Came to us this year. He actually wrestled in our JV tournament when he was in middle school, so we've seen him before. Another guy that's done a little wrestling with us on the JV level just to get him experience, get him more matches. The more the better, these younger guys. But certainly a good wrestler, has some good experience. Excited to see him get a varsity exhibition match here. Wants to try to circle around there, finish out. He's got that front headlock. There we go, he circles around, keeps his head in, seeing if he can get the cradle. Looks like he's starting to lock it up. Captures that leg with his leg. He just wants to keep circling. Nice job, he's got that cradle pretty tight. Isn't gonna get the back points, didn't hold it for long enough. And he's gonna switch to the crossface there. He should start, he can hold him there. He's not able to. He's got 2 back points. He's got a near wrist half. There you go. And that is in there tight. Can't see what looks like he called a pin, slapped the mat, didn't hear a whistle though.
Yeah. Interesting here in the Manchester versus Woodberry match, we had a final score, Woodberry 59, Manchester 18. Interesting to note, only one of them was by decision. That was in the 126 with Whit Moy. The rest all went by pin.
You know, that's one thing as a coach you really like to see, because as we've discussed, those team points can be big when you get those pins, and when you're doing the pinning and not getting pinned, it's always a good day to be a coach.
Gonna see another exhibition. Covenant has finished up with Episcopal. That will bring us to our nightcap.
There we go.
After we get done with a few exhibitions here.
Kevin Treacy here, wrestled with us in the JV program, has been wrestling varsity. He hyperextended his elbow, unfortunately, so glad to see him back on the mat, getting an exhibition match here.
That's a rough one.
He has really made some strides as a wrestler since his first year. He's a junior now, a 5th former. See, he's just trying to run him and turn him. If he's able to flip him over, he wants to settle his chest back a little so he doesn't go over. He's getting his near fall points here. If he's able to get those shoulders in the mat, he does. Gets the pin.
So even our exhibitions are going by way of pin.
Always good when we see that.
So through the first 2 matches here with JV coach Alex Tishino, what did you think of what you saw in the first 2?
First 2 matches, you know, obviously there are some forfeits at the upper weight classes, but Woodberry wrestling the way we like to see them wrestle. Aggressive, confident. You can see that we're working the moves that we've been practicing. And so, of course, as a coach, you love seeing that practice show up on the mat. So I think so far a really good day for us. Good that we have, you know, a good successful match like this. as we get closer to the preps and states, which will be in February.
All right, we're going to step away for a short break. Coming up next, the nightcap, Woodberry takes on Episcopal right here on Woodberry.tv. Stay with us.